So with you just getting back from the LA Auto Show. Other than a bunch of rain that nobody expected, how was it? Any surprises other than that?
Oh, well, it's been chopped back to a one-day show for the press. So I got in there Wednesday night, checked into my hotel, and then Thursday morning I'm at the show all day till my bloody stumps couldn't walk anymore. And uh, the LA Convention Center is a sprawling place, and the show is always between the two halls, which are actually separated by an overpass that goes over. I think it's Pico or one of the uh, famous Los Angeles roads. And so yeah, you have to walk quite a bit between the two halls. Luckily, I didn't follow the schedule on the press conferences because generally the way they do the press conference is, okay, Chevy's doing its press conference at 8 a.m. in North Hall. Okay, Hyundai's doing its press conference at 8:30 a.m. in South Hall. And so, basically you
Hmm.
you get all the cardio you need. I still must have recorded. I mean, I'm gonna have to look it up, but I had to have recorded about 20,000 steps on this past Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need one of those, pair of sneakers with the rollers on them, or just some skates to get from side to side. It sounds a lot like the old Moscone Center over in San Francisco, where you had to go underneath the road to get from the north to the south. But
Well, yeah.
if you
Except at
remember.
least there's a view this way because you're going over the road instead of in a tunnel.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, the picture you have out there, it looks like you ate well. I mean, are those food trucks I see all lined up
Yep,
outside?
I had food trucks. Luckily, once there was like eight of them, and if you went from each one, eventually you found one that had recognizable like eggs and hash browns and sausage on white bread.
Okay.
That way I didn't have to eat something that I couldn't pronounce or recognize.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty eclectic group that they have out there. So, I'm sure they had a great audience, pulling up for the first time with media types coming from all over the country. So
Oh
when you
yeah.
went, yeah, so when you went inside, I mean, I saw some of the postings that we put up on LinkedIn, and some of your man on the street, if you will, reporting. What were your biggest takeaways, from the show, other than the brevity of it, apparently, for the media?
Oh, I was going in the wrong direction. Well, one of the, of course, a big piece of news was the new Scout. I mean, the old folks will remember the International Harvester Scout, which was a sport utility that was, just a long-term player. I mean, it was out there, basically when you had the original Wagoneers, when you had the original Broncos. This was one of the first sport utilities, after, of course, the Jeeps.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember the big travel all, kind of a suburban type vehicle that International Harvester had. And, again, that was in the mid to late 60s that they debuted. So, but I remember those Scouts and those Scout, you know, commercials. One of their big deals was "Head 'em up, Scout," talking about
Nope.
what, you know, that the vehicle and its capabilities. And it lasted for a little while until IH kind of left the market.
Yeah, I mean the grueling market of emissions, safety, uh, oil embargoes eventually took their toll on, well, a lot of makers. So speaking of the travel all, here is now the Scout is now the brand, and this is the Scout Traveler.
Okay, Traveler. Now that looked like it had a plug-in on the side. Was that a hybrid or was that an all EV?
The Scout is an all-electric brand, and it's owned by Volkswagen Group. In fact, it's causing a little bit of a kerfluffle if we, go
A
back to use
little bit?
a little bit of kerfluffle because so Volkswagen Group, of course, in this country distributes Volkswagen cars. They also distribute Audis, Lamborghinis, and Porsches. All of those are sold through traditional franchised, independently owned car dealerships.
Correct.
Scout has made all those dealerships mad because the Scouts will be sold through a central organization owned by Volkswagen Group. So they're not going to have traditional third-party dealerships.
So they're going to go the route that Tesla did when they first started retailing, correct?
Yep, and a lot of the other electric companies have gone this way, and that's the precedent that they're hoping to rest on. I mean, first, of course, you had Tesla, but also with independent dealerships or selling points or showrooms or whatever you call them, whatever the nomenclature is. You have Rivian, you had Lordstown, which went away. Uh, you have Polestar, you have let's see.
I've seen a few Polestars dueled with Volvo retailers, okay? But is that more or less for service points in your opinion?
Yeah, some Volvo dealerships can offer service points, but uh, the actual Polestar locations were always meant to be completely independent and factory owned.
Gotcha. Okay, so the hubbub with Volkswagen Auto Group, obviously you got franchise laws that are going to be tested in all 50 states, as this is coming to market. When are they looking to have these products available for consumers to put in an order from whatever method that's going to be available?
Well, the models that we looked at were basically very, very late pre-production models, and they're due to be released as 2027 models. So, although there's no definite date, that would indicate they could be released anytime from this January 1st through, December of next year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The model year can start in January of the prior calendar year. So, yeah, I mean that would be remarkable to see some of these things, starting to hit the bricks and out on the highways, sooner than later.
If it's traditionally, launched, we would expect to see them, you know, not quite a year away,
Okay.
sometime next September, October.
What was your opinion of the late pre-production models as you described? I mean, how did the fit and the finish and I mean, they look, pretty enticing just from the photos that you've taken here. But what was your opinion, getting to really lick the paint off of these things?
I didn't have that much time. Like I said, the time constraints of only having well, way less than 24 hours at the show kept me from investigating them too deeply because I wanted to spend time with things that were not quite as far out. But the fit and the finish and the seeming quality of both the materials and the construction seem to be, pretty high up. I mean,
Good.
they look attractive, they look well put together.
Yeah, and these are going to be domestic built here in the U.S., correct?
As far as we can tell, which of course is the only thing that makes sense. I mean, that would have made sense under the uh I forget what was Biden's thing, the
Chip Act,
oh,
the CHIPS Act.
yeah. Well, yeah, it would have made sense under either the previous administration or the current one. The previous administration was only going to give tax credits for US sourced, US built electric vehicles. And of course, the tariffs that are rotating and changing, weekly or monthly, would prevent would prevent an easy way to import these. But they've been planned for quite some time to be built here.
Well, aren't they sharing some of this technology with other manufacturers?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I believe there is some cooperation, which of course, there's lots of cooperation. Rivian is cooperating with General Motors.
Yeah.
Uh, everybody's cooperating. I mean, Honda is selling General Motors EVs right now. With the what used to be called the Ultium platform, and now is just called the GM EV architecture.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. What else is on tap? What else would kind of struck your fancy out there?
Now, let me hit some buttons.
Said good looking product.
Oh yeah. Well, General Motors was at the show, but they only had a small unmanned portion here for GMC Buick and Cadillac. So GMC Buick and Cadillac weren't on the main floor. They just had a small thing out in the lobby as you walked in through the
Hmm.
main doors.
Cadillac seems to be proliferating a lot on the electric platforms, especially the SUV market. But we'll table that. What's that you got there in front of us? That looks like a Porsche.
Yep. You got it. That's a Carrera GT. It's like the one that Scott Walker was killed in.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And so that was one of the, hypercars from Porsche. And here is one of the very first plug-in hybrid hypercars ever to come from any manufacturer. That, of course, is the Porsche 918 Spider, which is a performance-oriented plug-in hybrid.
Mhm.
I forget, it had something crazy like 18 miles electric range.
It's like, why bother?
That's
Well, it
great.
was meant for two reasons: to make it much meaner, but also to barely squirt by to barely skirt by European laws that don't allow gasoline burning cars inside main metropolitan areas like London or Paris.
That's crazy. I remember a dealership in Southwest Florida walking in, and they had a handful of those, charging on the showroom floor. Not new; they were, pre-owned, but it was quite a anomaly the first time walking in and seeing something plugged in like that.
Oh yeah. So now Porsche has always had a big presence at the LA Auto Show. And usually, I don't know if you can see, it was right around it was right around that corner around there in our own separate room.
Okay.
They've had a little dining area, and that you could, if you tricked them and hid your badge or something, you'd walk in, get some good beef and some alcohol and stuff.
I see that
But
It says Porsche Lifestyle. Is that what you're talking about back there in that corner?
oh no, that's
Oh,
in
okay.
previous years. If you
Okay.
see now, Porsche downtown LA.
Yeah.
So now Porsche US, the Porsche USA is not there. And so downtown Porsche, which has a grand opening on their new place pretty soon, they brought in a bunch of Porsches themselves. They brought in those two supercars up in the front, which are kind of older, but they also had a good smattering of their present product.
What's
And again,
underneath
it
the
was,
hood?
I didn't get a chance to find out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. But
But since it
then,
wasn't Porsche USA, it probably was not a big premiere.
okay.
So on the right hand side of the floor, the one where we normally walked in first, they had a huge Ford area, and there weren't any typical new products from Ford. Oh, here this is
Legos or is that
this
Duplo?
is it's back to the Porsche area.
Okay.
So I was just contrasting, which one of these would cost you less. Well, that or that. This one or this one. Yeah, so
Yeah, there is no substitute. That's for sure. Yeah, think risky business. Anyway, go ahead.
and now
Okay.
they had a real cool area inside. In fact, it was sponsored by this company. I don't know if you can see that. That's
Spark.
Spark, yep.
Okay. There's-
Huge area in the middle,
Okay.
and they had all kinds of fancy stuff. This was the what's called the JDM stuff, which is basically vehicles that were originally sold and purchased in the Japanese home market.
Okay. They look like
Japanese,
drifters. I mean,
yep.
are
Now
those
they're modified. There were drifters. There were race cars of all sorts of different styles and types. In
let
the
me tell
middle,
you, that's huge business in Japan, and a lot
oh,
of that's coming over here, Australia as well. I mean, it's crazy the amount of money that the Japanese up market is, aftermarket, excuse me, is for all of these tuning vehicles that they have, and a lot of that, has come to the States, but not like it is in Japan.
yep, got an RX-7 there, modified quite a bit. And look at the back. Do you know, do you recognize what that is?
That looks like a that's a skyline.
Yep, good eye.
That's a skyline. It's a skyline in front of you there as well, a more recent model.
Yep, I
This
believe
should
so.
be a right-hand drive.
Yep. Yeah, you
Those are
can
the
look right through the
Australian.
windshield.
Yeah,
Can
those are
you?
the Australian vehicles that I was talking about.
Mm.
No, these are Japanese domestic market.
They are okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, the skyline. Yeah, you could barely make that out. It kind of looks like an old 70s BMW. The shape of it. But it's like I said, it's a if you watch the Fast and the Furious, series, you can see a lot of those cars that were in that production. And
Mm.
the crazy thing when you look at some of the motorsports in Australia, here domestically, the cars go counterclockwise around the track. In Australia, they go clockwise, and a lot of them are racing, stuff like you see here. And especially on the road circuits, you'll see a lot of the skylines that have been modified, much
Huh.
like you would have seen, BMWs and um, on the road circuits. That's all an NSX, isn't it?
Yes, but it's a Honda NSX.
Ah, okay. Okay, so it's not an accurate one. Okay, gotcha. And again, because it's Japanese,
Yep, there's
that's
a
is that a
GTR by the
Nissan?
time. Yeah, that's a GTR by the time they've dropped the Skyline name from it.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Holy crap. Oh,
Now we're
that's
getting
that's
a little bit.
different.
This is still the Spark Room, as you can tell by the
Yeah,
background.
yeah.
That was the first Bugatti, the EB 110, the first one in modern times after the name was purchased by Volkswagen Group and turned into their ultra uber, crazy ass.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's insane how sleek that is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
and this is before they worked with the W16. So this just has a little bitty pissant quad turbo V12.
Okay, I see Peterson Automotive Museum. Did they loan these cars to out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bucket list for me is going to the Peterson. And I know they rotate a lot of the vehicles they have on site, but that just like
Oh yeah, I'll
had a
have to go
chance
with
to
you
go.
sometime.
Yeah, I had a chance to go to the Henry Ford Museum years ago when we had a meeting up there with our friends in Dearborn, and just an incredible array of vehicles. And they had locomotives in there. That's how big this joint was. And
Oh,
they
they had
actually had
trains.
a stagecoach,
Wow.
Oh
from the 1870s. But locomotives, I mean, huge locomotives from the early 20th century.
Oh yeah,
And
Walter both been to the Ford Museum a few times.
oh my
Really?
God.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's right next. It's right next
Been
to.
a little while, but yeah,
Is
when
that
we
in
went to
Detroit?
Detroit,
Yeah, it's in
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Detroit.
that's so long ago. I can't. I don't know.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
I'll have to
funny
go get
because
it
the some of the stage set, and they had different vehicles besides Ford in there. I mean, they had just also. I mean, they had a Chrysler turbine in there, which
Oh yeah, it's an automotive museum. They had
exactly it wasn't exclusive to Ford Motor Company,
yeah, they
but
had a hybrid that was built in 1919.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
I mean, electric vehicle that I think Jay Leno has one of those, with the battery packs. I can't think of the
Team
brand.
car.
Yeah, but again,
BMW 1.
no, no, no. This is from the early 20th century.
Oh
That
yeah.
was competing against Model Ts at the time. It escapes me. I'll
How
think
you
of it.
like this cutaway Lamborghini? You can barely tell it's a Lamborghini,
Yeah, it looks like a
but
Oh,
Batmobile.
I thought it was one that was wrecked on the the 505. Uh,
I think they put an aftermarket turbo on there. I'm not sure.
I
yeah,
thought that was a robot. That engine looks crazy.
yeah, it kind of does.
Looks like legs.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Those tires ought to put down some rubber.
yeah.
Jeez.
That's a lot of patch.
Is this street legal?
Oh, well, I don't know. Depends on how good you pay off people or not. And of
I'm
course, this,
sure. I'm sure fully composed it is,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
uh, in that form, probably not.
Now we're here to the totally street legal stuff. So
That's a
here's a
Genesis, right?
Hyundai. No, this is a Hyundai Ioniq 9.
Hmm.
Really? I mean, and looking at the styling cues on the front end, I mean, it to me the first thing I'm thinking is Genesis, but then again, it's part of the same family.
DNA.
That's a good looking vehicle. That's sweet.
Yep. So that is Hyundai's answer to the Kia EV9. So it's a three row, I would say
Hmm.
mid-size all electric sport utility vehicle. So it's going to have a 300-ish mile range, 300 to mid 300s.
That looks a lot bigger than the Kia EV9.
Well, it's all depends on, the exact cut and where you're standing. They have the same wheelbase and everything though.
Okay. It just seems like the EV9 is a lot lower to the ground and not quite so SUV-esque, if you will. I mean, the EV9 is a sweet vehicle, absolutely. Okay, so I see the Genesis wings on the front. So which Genesis model is that?
So this is the refreshed GV60, which is Genesis only dedicated electric vehicles. So of course you have the GV70, which can have turbo 4 and 6 cylinder engines, or it can be the electrified GV70. The same with the G80, uh, but this is a pure electric. The GV60 only
Nice,
comes with electric powertrain.
nice looking. It seems like everything Hyundai and Kia is putting out is just turning to gold. I
Hmm.
was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and you know, years ago when you saw uh, a Toyota or a Honda, it was a Ford or a Chevy that didn't get sold, right? Today, you see a Hyundai or a Kia, it's a Toyota or a Honda that didn't get sold. I mean,
Yeah.
it is, and they're the hottest franchises that are out there, it seems. When you look at automotive news, I mean, you don't see those turning very often. It's other makes that are turning and burning, and it's just especially Genesis right now. They are hot, very hot. So what you got here? It's Lucid. Again, I'm assuming that's an all electric vehicle as well.
Yep. So that's the Gravity, which is the sport utility answer to the Lucid Air, which of course, as a ultra luxury, ultra high performance car, they were slightly missing the boat, so they came out with the Gravity as soon as they could, which is the sport utility version.
Now, as far as Lucid goes, those are also direct to consumer.
Yep.
Okay, okay. I didn't think they have any arrangements for servicing with other dealers like we were talking about Polestar and Volvo. Do you know of any?
No, but they do set up their own service centers. Some of them independently, like Rivian sets up service centers in Pep Boys locations sometimes.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, interesting. I mean,
Where?
historically going back, when the first Model Ts hit the bricks, there wasn't a whole dealer network for Ford Motor Company. They got
No,
drop
they
shipped to
were
local dealership. I mean, you know, fuel
blacksmiths.
retailers,
Yeah.
blacksmiths or some of them, yeah, wagon builders. But
Yep.
it had to be PDI'd by a local gas station, or service station at the time. And if you ever had a chance to go down to Key West, like I have a few times, and you go to the Hemingway Museum, one of the reasons Ernest Hemingway was in Key West, he and his wife had just left Havana on vacation, and they were in Key West waiting for the delivery of a Ford model to be delivered there. And they got held up in production, so he wound up staying down there for about 6 weeks waiting for it to come. And I believe that's when he wrote Farewell to Arms. And the thing about it is, when you look at a copy of the FOB, it was to a particular service station there for him to go pick it up and take delivery on it. So, again, you're looking at what's going on here 100 years later. It's the same thing for these electric vehicle manufacturers. They got to have
They did.
somebody to place to have the vehicle, you know, service for delivery, hell, even if it's just to take the plastic off of it, and make sure everything works. So it's just strange how, everything old is new again.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, what they do is, well, they're ordered through the internet most of the time, and then, if, for instance, if you're in Louisiana, they will then have to deliver it from a licensed service center, or you'll have to go pick it up, in a state that allows, non-franchise dealer sales.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things here in Louisiana. They haven't changed any of the laws. They don't have direct consumer here. And, so there's Teslas running around. So either they're pre-owned or, to your point, they were picked up across the state line over in Texas where they are.
Yep. So the RAV4 got a significant redesign for 2026.
Yeah, I can
And
see
then one
that.
of
I'll
the
do. Yeah, and that's a look that Toyota's going to across the board. It's a little more boxy, a little more, edgy, if you will.
Looks like a Subaru to me.
oh, well,
I'm
Subaru
sure
and
the folks with
Toyota,
Toyota want to hear that, but
well,
you're
they're
not
in
wrong.
cahoots.
Okay.
They share a couple of models. I mean, they share the BRZ and the GR86, and of course they share the all-electric Solterra with the BZ.
Yeah, and that's a great
And so
point. But
the RAV4 has the big change on the engineering in the RAV4 is that there is no more RAV4.
Nope.
There, it used to be you had RAV4, RAV4 Hybrid, and RAV4 Prime. Now you only have RAV4 Hybrid and RAV4 Plug-in Hybrid. They also dropped the Prime name like they did with the Prius a couple of years ago.
yeah, but if you look at the again, just generally for Toyota, when you look at the new Land Cruiser, when you look at the new um, Forerunners, when you look at again in this case the RAV4, again, just a lot more edgier styling. You see the bulging headlamps and tail lamps that just give it a beefier look, and you see the fender flares on there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Tacoma, Tundra, yeah, all those.
they all, yeah, but it's not just straight sheet metal. There's bends and cuts and straight edges and things like this. I mean that's a good looking, contemporary piece in my opinion. I think they hit that one right on the mark.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of, say, a 1957 Chevy. 1957, you had the jet age, and so those cars had a huge tail fins, which were, meant to imitate the new jets. They were
Oh,
just
absolutely. Yeah,
they had the
Harley Earl
huge,
was a big guy that was
big,
involved in
huge round things that looked like jet exhausts and everything. I mean, obviously the one in the Chrysler Turbine car was the biggest, but Ford's had the big round taillights that looked like jet exhaust. Now, what is the cutting edge of aeronautics right now? That would be stealth technology. And those have edgy, boxy shapes that are meant to scatter radar unpredictably and make those vehicles invisible up in the sky. And so, I think a lot of that evokes kind of a stealth fighter or a stealth bomber look in some of these newer vehicles.
Oh, I totally agree with you, and
That
that's
makes
a point
sense.
well taken. What'd you say? I'm sorry, Walter.
That no, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's Harley Earl, his influence was, the bombers that were built. Again, back then General Motors built a lot of the war planes that were in the sky. And a lot of that styling made it into the early 50s models, they retooled after the war to offer the brand new vehicles, 50 and 51. And to your point, when you look at, you know, you think of the Chrysler model lines in the late 50s with the big fins and Cadillac, when you look at a 59 Fleetwood with those huge fins that were there, with mimicking what, jet fighters look like. And I can see the exact same thing here with the razor sharp edging and the cuts. Maybe it'll do the same for the radar on, when the cops are sitting there trying to catch speeders. Maybe it'll deflect it based on all of the different cuts on the sheet metal.
That's what
We'll,
I was
Yeah,
hoping.
we'll see.
I think that big black dam right at the front probably will catch the radar good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a blunt front end on it, but
Now
that
for
that
something
happens.
completely different.
But you're right about
Uh,
that.
so
Oh,
a completely different direction. Here is the first premiere of the Dodge Charger with the internal combustion engine at an auto show. So, of
Look at the
course,
hood
the
on this thing.
yeah, the
My
hood is cool.
goodness.
totally different hood than on the electrics. Gone is that little tunnel in the front nose.
Yeah, that looked like an air deflector
Yeah, those
misplaced.
are really cool. And of course, I don't know if it has it, but these don't need a stereo system just to make an engine sound when they drive.
Hmm.
The fratsonic exhaust is deleted from the now these have interesting engine choices. They have a two different versions of the new Hurricane inline twin turbo six cylinder. And of course, I had to hear people over and over say V6, last week because people are too used to throwing V in front of six, just like in front of eight.
It's an
But
inline
this,
six or what?
yep, it's an inline six.
Oh,
First time the
interesting.
Chrysler's had one since 1989.
Wow.
And so, of course, the inline six, which BMW has offered for billions of years, and which a lot of manufacturers have come back to.
Hmm.
Mercedes has come back to an inline six cylinder, but it's the most inherently balanced engine layout that you can have besides a V12, and a V12 is only slightly more smooth just because it has more cylinders.
Hmm.
They used to say the same thing about the 3800 V6 from General Motors as one of
Oh,
the most
they're
well balanced and well, tuned.
mathematically not true. No, I mean, it was a smooth and really robust engine, but the 3800, that was a 60-degree V6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the best balance that you can do on a V6, but it's a smidgen less balanced than a V8, and it's a good bit more balanced than a four cylinder. It's way more balanced than a 90-degree V6. But an inline six, the only thing that's more balanced than that would be a 60 or a 30-degree V12.
Oh, interesting. When we were selling General Motors back in the early 90s, that's what they were talking about. The evolution of that V6 came from shaving two heads off of a 350 V8 and the balance of both engines. But they just seemed that it had, I mean, that thing was bulletproof. But, then they went to the 3600, 3.6 liters, which I have in my vehicles. And those are now being replaced with General Motors with the turbo four cylinders. So what's under the hood again on that particular model? It says six pack. Oh my goodness. So
That's the
what
new nomenclature.
that's the secret weapon right there. Okay, so tell us a little bit
So,
about that.
so this is a scat pack, this one that we're looking at right now. And so that means it has a 550 horsepower version,
Holy
um,
mackerel.
also called the high output version of the inline six cylinder.
Yeah, but what's amazing to me is that hood. I mean, that is prominent. But other than that, styling wise, it looks like the Charger we saw on the EV platform, correct?
Yeah, the biggest difference is in the hood. So let's hop around a little bit.
Okay.
Nissan has completely redesigned its Leaf.
That's what it says there.
Oh yeah, a lot of
What
people.
gave it away?
Well, the wheels are unique to the Leaf, and the badge and the Nissan badge has a slightly different shape to it. So that's how you can
Yeah.
tell it's a Leaf. But of course, previous versions of the Nissan Leaf were much more car-like. They were a four-door hatchback style. And then you had the Nissan, and I don't care how it's supposed to be pronounced. I'm just going to say it. The Nissan Ariya was the bigger electric vehicle from Nissan, and people thought, well, the Leaf is going to go away, but no, they wanted this entry level, more affordable version, but they gave it much more of a sport utility look and feel to it to help it compete better.
Yeah, it's a nice looking unit.
And also from Nissan, we have an all new Sentra. Of course, all new doesn't include the 2-liter engine or the continuously variable transaxle. Those are the same, or the suspension. I'm thinking all new just basically means,
Sheet
this
metal.
really good, really gorgeous front. I mean, look at that front end. That's just
Yeah, that's a totally different look for Nissan. It's needed a freshening up for a while.
You know what it
And
looks like? Or you know what it's resembling? It's resembling the new Z a good bit. It's got those muscular kind of haunches up in front.
yeah, again, you're looking at a little bit more sculpting in that hood. You've got that belt line, you know, uh, and looks like a little hip action going in from the rear door handle going back to the tail light. Um, again, just something just bend the sheet metal a little bit, give it a little character, and this has some character. And I
Yeah,
agree with you. I think the front end does look like that.
yeah, it's really, really powerful. The bulgy hood. Now, what I don't really care for is the little dimple that looks like somebody before the cookie dough was baked took their finger around the wheel arch and did that little dimple thing on front and the back.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could probably do without that as well, but I mean, that looks like it's cut into the metal, not necessarily bulging out from.
Exactly, yeah, it's an indent, so that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like why? It just makes it harder to get clean in a car wash. Just another groove. Here you got the same thing. Look,
yep. And so the Nissan Rogue now offers a plug-in hybrid for 2026.
that looks a lot bigger than the old Rogue. Am I seeing things?
I'll have to get back to you, look at the specs and everything. It is
First,
it's
first
different.
look, it looks a lot bigger.
You know what they did here? Are you familiar with the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid?
Yeah, it looks a lot like it.
They just took the entire powertrain and went floop.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
well, similar to how the trying to get it right. The Mazda CX-50, the plug-in hybrid version of that is borrows the RAV4 hybrid powertrain.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So that's what they've done here. Oop, wrong direction. It's gorgeous red though.
Yeah, it's got a lot of depth to it. It's pretty color.
Here's the another one of the Sentras. This is the SR, which is the sportiest level of the type.
That looks strong. I like the two-tone, especially the way it masks on the front cap. Um, just real sinister looking.
Yep, I mean, you can't find too many car makers that don't offer that blacked out roof look.
Yeah, I see a lot more of them coming with that. Even on some of the SUVs, you're seeing the
Oh, a
black
lot of the
top.
SUVs, yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
a lot of the imports.
what's a little different here is I can't remember seeing it where it started on the A pillar before,
Yeah, I'm looking at that too. But I guess it had to because of the way that that's structured.
or just they wanted to. I'm not. You could have done a cut line at the windshield or
Yeah,
something, or
but it looks better with the cut line there on the hood.
probably so.
You
It's
know,
like Star Wars.
potato, patata. Yeah, yeah, it looks like one of the helmets.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
clone trooper or something.
which is
Yeah,
funny because Nissan had a Star Wars crossover at one of the auto shows several years back.
you
They had a
know,
bunch of Star Wars versions of their cars, special versions.
yeah. I looked when what is that? Lincoln came out with the MKT years ago. Um, to me, that back looked like the back end of it looked like a helmet off of one of the Star Wars characters. And when you look at the front cap on the Escalade, it looks like a stormtrooper. So they're getting a lot of styling cues from just some of the helmets, the way these things are designed. But anyway, okay, so here we have a four-door Charger, correct? It looks like, is that a Super B I see on the
It's
on
a
the
four-door
side?
Charger. It is one of the Daytonas, which means
Okay,
it's the electric. Daytona on the Charger nomenclature, Daytona means electric. So this is a Daytona,
okay.
it's a Charger Daytona Scat Pack, which is the only electric version this year. They did away with the lower powered RT.
All right, so okay, well, I guess my eyes are deceiving me from the picture. There's a bulging hood line on here as well.
Oh no,
Uh,
look where it goes in though.
Yeah, but I'm looking at you've got a breather there, if you will, in front, not quite as pronounced as on last year's model.
You know, it's that's just the angle. But you see where the hood does
Yeah,
that? It's like an
yeah.
arch.
Uh-huh.
That's what tells you it's the electric model.
Okay.
Hmm.
But
It
it looks
reminds
like
me of,
there's a cut in there. I'm sorry, Walter, go ahead.
no, you're good. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if it's a 1960s Corvette or something with that little hump on the, I can't think of what it would be, but just
Yeah,
something a bit older.
a '60s big block Corvette had the
427 would have had a hood like that on a Corvette, 67.
yep, yep.
Or even a 68 with the Mako Shark, platform would have it. But look just forward of that scoop as it tapers in toward the front of the vehicle. There looks like there's a gap there. Is
Yeah.
that an okay? But it's
Hmm.
similar and reminiscent to the other one on the previous model, just not as pronounced. Is that what I'm seeing? Is that an
Well,
airflow like on
yeah,
the
so
okay.
the air goes over and it goes under the front of
Okay.
the leading edge of the hood on the electric vehicles.
Okay. So that carried over, just not as pronounced. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. And so, but one of the things is,
Four doors.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it really looks as nice as the two door. They did an excellent job
I was going to
because
say the same thing. I mean, that's a smart looking automobile.
you can look
And
at a lot of vehicles that offered two and four door versions in the same package, and they don't carry it off as well as this. I mean,
Hmm.
even ones that carried off pretty well, like the two and four door Neons, you know, two and four door Malibus way back in the day, the
yeah, no, I agree with you there. There was a big difference between a two-door Malibu and a four-door.
yep, and the
Same
four
thing with
door
the
still looked
Cutlass.
long. Yeah,
I had a 75 Cutlass. It's my grandfather's, so it was a four-door Colonnade. It still got the job done, but it didn't have the same look and appeal as the two-door with the opera roof and the tonneau, the Landau top on it. That's a good homage to the late 60s. You know, you know,
Yeah.
when you go and you look at, I like a 69 model or a 70 model Charger. That to me is more reminiscent. I know when it came out and Dodge came out with the Challenger and they first came out with the Chargers and it was a four door, they were trying to, give it the Challenger was hit the nail right on the head, but the Charger really never did. To me, this is just a much better version and pays much more and a much better homage to the original model, even as a four door. That's striking.
I
Very
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
the 2006 four door Charger was, I mean, the Magnum, which was a 2005. Of course, it was a completely, totally differently, new car. And I mean, it redefined what a really cool station wagon could look like. But you're right, the Charger, it just didn't pull off that body style quite as good. Now,
no,
when they did it in 2011, it improved quite a bit.
no question. But if they'd have come out with this
Oh yeah,
back,
this is
they would have been. But again, with the Challenger, I mean, just a contemporary version of a car 50 years earlier.
yeah. But here's your two door
Two
electric.
door.
I'm sorry, two door internal combustion, four door electric, two door internal combustion, four door electric. So the hood is completely contiguous on the gas motors.
Yeah,
Hmm.
gotcha.
Now, here we
Oh,
go.
yeah. The first thing is no, the board's not going to prove that for you with, and sorry.
Well, since I couldn't drive since it would be illegal to drive on the streets in the states, I can see how, yeah, we wouldn't get a tax credit for it.
Really?
So,
How
Nah, not
come?
at all.
How come it would be illegal?
well, there are only 33 of them. In fact, it is called the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale.
That's cool.
So there are only 33 of them made, and so they did not homolog
Homogenize.
yeah, they didn't certify
Homologous.
homologate. Yeah, they didn't
Oh,
homologate. That's it. They didn't homologate. They didn't homologate these for the United
You got
States.
plenty to edit.
I don't know. You ought to leave it in.
yeah. People will learn a new word. I've never heard that.
So three of them will be sold in the United States, but only under a license to display.
Okay.
Won't
That's
be
cool.
street legal, in other words.
No.
Is
Uh,
it?
they they would have had to redo all sorts of stuff for crash tests and a little bit for emissions, but mostly crash tests.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It uses the same 3-liter twin turbo as the Maserati MC, uh, which is a modified version of the 2.9 twin turbo V6 that was in my Giulia Quadrifoglio,
Hmm.
which is
Okay.
3/4 of a Ferrari V8, like from the 458.
Okay.
When I
Interesting.
when I
Beautiful
popped the
automobile.
tire, I popped the tire on that thing, right? The Julia.
Oh yeah, you were driving, but it was the huge
Massive
pothole
pothole, yeah. But I was
pothole
like,
on the
when it
road.
happened, I thought I did something way worse. I thought like
I'm sure if you
uh,
blew that tire, it made one hell of a sound. I'm
it
sure it
was
scared the
loud
wits
and
out of you. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm certain that this, like the Quadrifoglio, did not have a spare tire as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You'd be
Nothing but
calling it.
run flats.
Are those suicide doors? Is that what those are called?
Yep.
No, those are
No, those are scissor doors.
Scissors, okay.
um,
Or like
uh,
angel or something?
not
They're not
gull
gull wing. Those are
They're,
scissors.
they're not quite scissors. There's something in between. There's a name for them.
Hmm.
I'll have to look it up and get back to you. Suicide doors are the doors that open up on the rear.
Backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that means you can't look at the traffic coming from behind you. That's why
I
they
got the
call them
guy to close the
suicide.
doors for me so I could get a nice clean shot of it.
You know that when Lincoln came out with that on the new Continental a few years
Oh
ago,
yeah,
they sold every blessed one of them, and it's a
can't
shame they
believe they
don't
didn't
build
keep
them
up with
anymore.
it. Yeah,
I,
I mean, I don't know what
I,
happened.
yeah, it just it,
Tapered
I mean,
off, or
they
whether
don't
they
make
just
the
didn't
Continental
follow through.
anymore, so but there was a good run of them, and that's a collectible. When you look at the mid '60s,
Yeah,
early '60s, mid '60s, I think they ran that through '68 or '69.
somewhere
Uh,
around in there. Yeah,
but
they didn't
yeah, but
survive into the 70s.
they are a hot commodity if you can collect and get one.
So how do you like the little window? Can anyone name me a Japanese manufacturer of recent times that had the little window like that?
Wait, is it?
Oh yeah, that's the Subaru had that on their
SV,
SV6. Was that what it was? An
SV,
SV9?
no,
It was a two-door sedan.
SVX or SV6 or
SV
something.
something. Yeah.
Looks like a drive-through window.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty much
basically
what it's
all it is.
for.
So this huge fancy door can't have a roll down window. It's too contoured.
Yeah.
So they gave this little one. Luckily, unlike the sliding one on the Subaru, this one does retract into the door.
Hmm.
What are you doing? No, that's slick. But yeah, Subaru had that.
I think it's SVX, but
Let me see real quick.
obviously I like taking a picture of that.
Front looks like, I don't know, like an Audi or something. I'm trying to think.
Hmm.
Oh, I like the snake tongue coming out. Is that what is that what it's supposed to look like?
You
Yeah.
know what? I think you might be right
Yeah,
because
That's
it's
cool.
SVX is the name of the car you're talking about from
yeah,
Subaru.
yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, yeah, it looks kind of like a Viper tongue,
Yeah, like a
with the
viper
fork
tongue,
tongue,
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
that's cool.
Can you
yeah,
imagine the
that it
question?
is that is cool. That's even more sinister than that other one.
That's all like forged aluminum, like
Wow.
it's like super, super delicate. I mean, that's not like a hunk of plastic that's been spray painted.
That's beautiful. All
Yeah.
right, now we get looks like Jeep.
So what would you think this thing is?
Well, I mean, the front cap looks like a Jeep. So looking at that,
It's a
is
Jeep.
that like a Renegade? Not a Renegade.
Somebody else said that this
Compass.
should have been the new Cherokee. Yeah, Compass is a good guess. This is the all-electric Jeep Recon, which is the counterpart to the Wrangler.
Okay.
Hmm.
And so it's only going to be in 4 doors, but this is meant to be the super, super, super off-road electric vehicle from Jeep.
It looks like
Uh,
a direct competitor to Ford Bronco in a four-door variant.
yeah,
Does
yeah,
look like
really
that, yeah.
is. Of course, it's got the 7-slot grill.
Right.
Since this is a Moab version, which uh, Jeeps that burn dead dinosaurs get to be called Rubicon if they're the most trail worthy. in the electrics, they've decided to go with the term Moab.
Yeah, mother of all beasts, huh?
There you go. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh,
So
okay.
that gives it the big old fat red tow hooks and everything like that.
Hmm.
No, it's a good looking piece, and hell, that would look really strong as a player if it was a gas burner. Okay, so we're looking at what, Grand Cherokee here?
No, that'll come later. I made the mistake too, and I'm looking and going,
Or is that a Wagoneer?
Yep, this is the redesigned Wagoneer. They
Okay.
decided to really redo it quite a bit.
Here
Yeah.
again, you see a little more sculpting.
Yep.
Because I mean, look, I mean, if the Wagoneer that's out there now, I mean, you talk about a fuselage look.
Here's a big difference right there. You
Well,
see
yeah,
this?
the convex,
No, the
uh,
word. They decided to put Jeep on it. The original Wagoneers when well, not the original, but the Wagoneer, the new Wagoneers when they came out a few years ago, they distanced themselves because they wanted to be an ultra premium vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Well, what guy
Chrysler has
doesn't
made that
realize
mis Yeah, Chrysler's made that
Jeep is
mistake a few
already,
times, haven't they?
yeah. I mean, the Grand Cherokees, the Jeep Grand Cherokees that originally came out for 93 kicked the butts of all the Mercedes and well, there weren't any BMW sport utilities at the time, but they out luxuried all of the sport utilities from
Yep.
Europe at the time.
Yeah, I
And
saw those.
Jeep is not only synonymous with off road, but it's pretty highly synonymous with luxury.
Well,
Not
sure.
always. I mean, you do have Renegades and Compasses and such, which could dilute that image a little bit, but you know, there's nothing to walk away from on a Jeep as far as luxury.
When you look at the original Grand Wagoneers that came out in the late 50s and early 60s, again, that was luxury that was unheard of in trucks.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Nobody had that kind. No, nobody had any of that. So when you look at this, and again, the luxury that's a part of it, but getting back to my original comment, Chrysler, and of course, here's Stellantis. We saw this mistake made before with Imperial as trying to do a standalone, with Valiant trying to be a standalone, and distance yourself from, and to a certain degree, with the other lines, DeSoto competing against one another.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the key with Ram.
yeah, and so you got the vehicle. No, that's a great point. People understanding that Grand Wagoneer is a Jeep. I mean, why give up on 75 years or is it 70 or 70, 75 years of
Oh, Jeep.
history and
Oh, Jeep.
tie-in,
That'd be a
you know,
long.
1945. So,
Yep.
it's 80 years.
80. Yeah, 80 years.
You
Yep.
know, but
So interesting point. They tried to confuse the crap out of me, and they probably did a pretty good job. And I think they're gonna confuse a lot of consumers. So there used to be a Wagoneer, and then Wagoneer Series 2, Wagoneer Series 3, then Grand Wagoneer, then Grand Wagoneer Series 2, Grand Wagoneer Series 3, and then Grand Wagoneer Obsidian.
yeah. Yeah, I
And then,
mean,
of
I can
course, there's
remember
the
that
two
too.
different lengths.
Yeah.
You have the regular and the L. Now, what they did was there's no more Wagoneer.
Hmm.
Yeah, Wagoneer is gone. It's grand. All of them are Grand Wagoneers, which makes a lot of sense because I mean the Grand Wagoneer was what it was when it went away in '89. Well, now it's longer than that. Was it 90, 91?
Yeah, they introduced it for a few model years. It didn't, I think 92 was the last year for it,
Yep. Oh, it had been around for, well, consistently
but
like
on a new platform back in the
30
early
years.
90s when,
No,
when
no, no, that was the old platform that came from the 60s.
no, but they introduced on that because I remember seeing some of the wood grain units. It wasn't out long for Jeep, and I sold Jeeps in 1993 for that CJ retailer, and like I said, it wasn't around for long. I know what you're talking about. When there was the one that looked like the old Jeep truck from the 60s. It carried that old front cap on it. If you
They changed caps, they changed the rectangular
Yeah,
headlights a little bit.
yeah,
But
but Yeah, I know.
basically the Grand Wagoneer goes way back. I mean,
Well, sure, it
it,
goes back to the 50s.
they called it a Grand. They even called it a Grand Cherokee for a while.
Yeah.
Got
But no,
different.
to your point, this is a good look. Now this is not the L, is it? This is looks like the shorter wheelbase. Is that correct?
I will not deny or confirm that, but I believe you're right. I believe this is the regular wheelbase.
Yeah. Because I
Some of
mean, when
the
you pull up next to a Grand
Cherokees,
Wagoneer, it is long. It is longer. It appears to be longer than a Suburban.
yeah, that
And
window tells me
and
that's pretty much, yeah, that's the regular.
yeah, I'm looking at how it's the curvature of that the rear doors.
There's your Grand Cherokee. So that's
Yeah.
also redesigned. So that's
Yeah.
also redesigned for 2026. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
But
it's like, you
it's
know,
similar. It's got a lot of the same styling, but a little more cuts. Of course, it says Jeep on it. But look at also the two-tone roof. Look where that cut line is. It's on the A-pillar, at the hood. I mean,
oh, let's
that's just a
go
trendy
back to
look.
this one for a
Same
second.
thing there too. Look.
So the powertrains also got shook up. Now, we remember when the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer first came back again. I'm trying to think 2018, 2019, somewhere in there.
Hmm.
They came with a 5.7 liter Hemi in the Wagoneer and the 6.4 Hemi in the Grand Wagoneer. Then later on, those were replaced by the Hurricane engines. The
Right.
small Hurricane engine, the 400 and 425. Oh no, I can't remember. 400s horsepower for the Wagoneer, and the high output one, the 540 horsepower Hurricane engine in the Grand Wagoneer. You can't get the high output engine anymore.
Yeah.
It's only the baby six cylinder, the little Hurricane. I mean, they're all 3 liters, but the 420 some odd horsepower Hurricane inline six is the standard engine in all the Grand Wagoneers. And then if you move up in powertrain, you know what you get? You'll never guess in a million years.
No clue.
A Pentastar 3.6 liter V6. But
Why?
that's okay because it does not drive the wheels. It's a generator on an electric platform. So if you move up powertrains in the Grand Wagoneer from the Hurricane regular output six, you get a Pentastar V6 and you get batteries and you get electric motors and you get over 600 horsepower. It's basically the powertrain from the Ram Charger Dodge uh, series hybrid electric powertrain. So it's basically a diesel locomotive, except it's got a Pentastar V6 instead of a diesel engine.
3.6, right? Or is it a V6?
Yep. Yep.
3.6
3.6
V6.
Okay,
V6.
yeah.
Correct. Yep.
No, that's, you look at the horsepower output on a lot of these things, on
Oh,
these
fucking
the
crazy.
hybrids, it's insane. But they got to get something to get to there, because a lot of the electrics on their own aren't capable. So you got to have that extra boost, and that's like the Pentastar. That it makes sense now that you say that.
Hmm.
And the
Um,
range is going to be somewhere around 600 miles.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
So the range anxiety question, seems to be, year after year be going away. It's just the infrastructure issues are always going to be with us. The hybrids seem to be, the next, best step of acceptance. And, once, I mean, 10 years from now, there'll be, a whole, heck of a lot more, charging stations that'll be available. You're not going to need quite as many if you get the range that you're looking at as far as getting stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere. If you have to go, a long ways between, metropolitan areas. But
Uh,
like from
So
here from here to, from New Orleans, let's say to Houston, it's about 300 miles.
5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours.
So yeah, 5 hours. Let's say it's 300 miles. If you got a car of an electric vehicle, from New Orleans, there's a reasonable amount of charging areas, stations. You can get to Houston metro area, without any issue. So using it for travel, and I can tell you, um, the big thing that, with my son, the last vehicle he bought, he said, the Tesla he had couldn't make it to New Orleans from Houston on a single charge. And, whereas this vehicle, with a hybrid could, to get to there. So that to me is just going to open up a whole lot of different opportunities, than just, going all EV or all gas. You got to have the combination of all three and um, let the
Yep. This
consumers
is
decide.
this is the Grand Cherokee L, by the way. So
Okay, so that's another Alfa Romeo. That's a what, Tonale?
yep, or as we call it in the ninth ward, the toenail.
Oh, good. Yeah, give me one of them toenails. That's what I want.
What is a toenail? I get that. So they refreshed the tonale for 2026, and this just to be sure that Americans will buy more sparkling Italian uh, water because they'll be thirsty from talking too much. Is the Alfa Romeo Tonale Sporta Speciale.
Ah, okay. So the Sport Speciale, it kind of looks like a Jeep Compass.
Well, it's much more closely related to the Dodge Hornet.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, fair
So,
enough.
of course, either two. I have to check because previously they had a 2 liter turbo and a 1.6 liter plug-in hybrid. Later on, they got rid of the 2 liter turbo so that the Denali was only offering the 1.6 turbo plug-in hybrid. But since it's been refreshed for 2026, we'll have to wait until the information comes out to be sure.
Okay.
But very pretty car. Uh,
Yeah, we
see,
can get somebody like Sergio Franchi to sing Tonale, just like he did with the Volare back in the 70s, singing.
I easily see the difference in the size on the Grand Cherokee non-L version
Oh yeah, yeah. The whites breaks it up.
without having to peek inside to see the third row in the L. And
Well,
this is
the main difference on these, yeah, the main difference on these is when you see the wheel well cut into the back doors, that tells you it's a shorter wheelbase. When you
yep,
see a full door, when the wheel well cuts behind the door opening, that tells you more or less it's an L or an extended length vehicle.
yep. So this also is the top line, which is the Trailhawk, which for 2026 only comes on the 4xe. So the Trailhawk comes with the 2 liter plug-in hybrid,
Yeah, I see
350.
the yeah. Yeah, I see the little door to plug in on the side of it. So yeah, no, it's a good looking piece.
I don't know if I've seen a plug-in hybrid that had the charge port and the fuel door on the same side before.
A lot of that is because of Tesla and their superchargers. One of the big gripes about a lot of the vehicles that are sold domestically is the fact that the charging port on the vehicle is on the opposite side. So you actually take up two charging spots instead of one because the charger cord, if you will, isn't long enough to wrap around to the other side of the vehicle. So you'll see a lot of them coming into more spec with the Tesla model, to be able to
Teslas
use
are
those.
always Teslas are always on the driver's side at the extreme rear.
Yeah, but
So this is
this
the driver's
this
side
you
in the
yeah
front.
yeah, but you can still back in on this one and not take up two spots.
Yep, probably.
Yeah, because that was
Now,
again that was
I wonder if they'll
a big.
start to. I wonder if they'll start to dual up where the chargers and the gas pumps are close together, so you can do both at the same time.
Well, that's a great point, because if you need to charge it up, you got to leave that fuel pump to go out, to the charging stations. I know the Buckies that are set up, they're way out in the perimeter, whereas the fuel pumps, take up most of the real estate close to the retail side portions.
Yep. Now, of course, if you're driving a plug-in hybrid on a long trip, you're not going to bother charging it for the extra, 25, 40, 50 miles of range. You'll
Yeah.
just top up the gas tank and drive it like a conventional hybrid.
Right. Right.
It'd be cool if they put a charger there with the pump so you could do both.
Yeah.
Well, as if there weren't enough new Jeeps already, this is the new Jeep Cherokee.
Okay. Nice. Nice. I like the refresh. I like the modern look. Again, it's very Wagoneer-esque, if you will. Um, again, a lot of sheet metal, cuts and again, that two-tone black roof line on it. Um, it's a good looking piece. Living here in the South, you always wonder about having a dark roof line, a black, most people don't buy black vehicles down here. I mean, most of them are going to buy a white vehicle or a silver vehicle because of the heat. But when you look at that two-tone black, it might be stylish, but boy, during the summer, it's going to be brutal. They better have a lot of insulation in that roof. Is all I can say.
Let's see, I'm gonna quickly.
Mhm.
Oh crap, I knew all this. I wanted the output on the engine. Oh, there it is. So this is Jeeps, and it's Jeeps first, but it's not Chrysler Motors first, regular non-plug-in hybrid.
Okay.
Bonus points, can you name Chrysler's other two vehicles that came as a non-plug-in hybrid?
Non-plug-in hybrid. Hmm.
This is a 1.6 liter turbo in this one with a regular hybrid system, and it's going to produce 213 horsepower, and it gets, I believe, 34 miles per gallon combined. So for medium small sport utility with that much horsepower,
No, that's strong. That's
that's
strong
going
because
wild. Yeah.
our um our Buick Envision is a 2.3, 2.4 turbo. No, 2 liter turbo, four
Yeah.
cylinder, and it's got it gets in the high 30s, you know, around town and highway it'll get mid 30s. So yeah, that's no, that's very strong. I can't you got me on the hybrid. I'm trying to think of what it might be.
So one was the Chrysler Aspen Sport Utility. They offered a
Really?
version for a couple of years. And then remember they had a Ram pickup truck with a hybrid.
Yeah, I remember that, but that was one that wasn't there some issues with that with fuel EPA registration? I mean, with the EPA mileage, there was some issues with that, and they got held up as far as selling them. Was that the one?
I
Yeah, because
don't
there
I don't recall.
there was one of them that I mean, it sat almost a year on the lots before
Ooh,
they could sell them again, before they
they
got
couldn't get
clearance.
certified. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But no, that's a good looking piece. Again, the black and roof two tone. That's got to be a northern deal because down here in the south, that's going to be brutal. It's
Well,
going to
it's
be
an
brutal.
Yep. So you can just get it all white. Here's a better picture of the Recon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at first the door latches were broken, and so they jury rigged them so that the door could be closed, but then you couldn't get in. So
May need
that's
to retake that because I don't know if you can use jerry rigged as a
jury
terminology. Yeah,
jury rigged is in GURY.
yeah. Jury rigged.
Even jerry rigged would be fine. The
Yeah,
jury's
man.
fine. They lost. After all, you lost the war.
Yeah,
Wait, that's the wrong accent. I'm sorry.
yeah. Just
Well,
like,
you very well lost the war, didn't you?
yeah, you did. It was your fault. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Um, no, it looks good. Looks good.
It's got an almost Hummerish look in the front grille,
I
but
was
of
going
course,
to say the same thing.
well, they fought over that grille because the Hummer was originally from a company that had been owned by Jeep before Chrysler bought the rest of it.
Well, American General was the one that built the
Right,
original
American
Hummers
General, which was part of American Motors.
motors.
That
Hmm.
was that was the part that Chrysler didn't buy in '87.
Right. Yeah, they built the tanks. Mm.
Yep.
The M1s. Yep.
They claimed an equal right to use the 7-slot grill. Now here's a cute little thing.
Fiat, fix it again, Tony.
Yep.
No,
A
those
little,
are cute. That's what it looks like a little um what do they call that? That was a Jolly.
little city car.
Well, the yeah, but
Here's a regular
yeah,
500E.
500E, yeah. The Fiat Jolly was a kind of a transport vehicle back in the 50s, and it had kind of like a little Sully top on it, and it was open door,
Oh,
and
there
they
you
had
go.
these at some of these resorts in Hawaii. It was a Fiat Jolly. It's a cute little vehicle. That's what that looked like with the open doors on it. All right, so who we got here?
Maserati.
Ah,
So the
that's pretty.
MC20 is now the MC Pura, and the MC Pura Cielo. I mean, sorry,
Cielo.
the MC Pura Cielo is the convertible version.
That is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the color.
Oh yeah, it's a gorgeous color.
Man, is that pop?
Well, I guess we could probably save the rest of the LA Auto Show for another time.
We
I mean,
can.
we're
Yeah.
rolling up on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
How many
So,
dealerships do you think will be open on Thanksgiving?
not many.
No.
Not many, if any.